Hello, friends. Welcome back to How the Light Gets In. So, let me tell you what was supposed to happen, and then I'll tell you what did happen. So, way back in February, I was doing my yoga teacher training, as you know, and we started talking about yoga retreats, and I was like, that sounds super fun. So, I booked a yoga retreat for myself in Lassen Volcanic National Park in California, which is where I was supposed to have been last week. And because it's 2020 and everything is a garbage fire, that got canceled. So I was pissed and decided that I still wanted to go somewhere. So I subbed in a much less exciting trip and decided to go camping in Oklahoma. So I drive to Oklahoma and I find this campsite, which is just like a little section of this farmer's pasture kind of by nowhere. And it was great. Like, it was a really cool little spot. He had like a picnic table and like a swing and like a little shelter and like a pond you could swim in, and there were cows, and I love cows, so it was good. So I'd been there for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I like had set things up, and I had taken a little swim in the pond and like tried to get the cows to be my friends, which didn't work out. And then I was just like chilling, vibing in this little swing he had, reading a book, relaxing. And then it started raining. So I had to go sit in my car because I didn't have anywhere else to be. So I sat in my car while it like torrentially downpoured. I looked it up later. It rained about half an inch in 30 minutes. That's too much rain. And if you're not from the Midwest or you don't live here now, what you don't know is that we go in these cycles in the summer here where like it gets unbearably hot where you feel like you're gonna die. And then it finally rains. And then one of two things happens. Either it gets better and the temperature goes down and it's like a nice day now, or the temperature goes right back to where it was, except now it's ungodly humid and you can't function. Let's all take a minute to guess which one happened this day. Yes, it was the second. So it had been like 90 degrees and pretty okay, and now it was 90 degrees at 80% humidity. 80% is too many percent. Like, I was dripping sweat sitting still in a chair reading a book. I couldn't get a fire started because my wood wouldn't burn because the air was so wet. But I was trying to be in the moment. I was trying to channel Callie North from Alone Season 3. I was trying to be there and enjoy this place and this time. And I just fucking couldn't. So around 9:30, because I mean, it's dark, what are you gonna do? I went and lied down in my tent and I was like, we're just gonna try and get through the night. We're gonna get through the night and then tomorrow we'll see how we feel. And I lied there for about an hour, and then I realized that there was just absolutely no way I was ever going to fall asleep. So at 10:30, I packed all my shit up in the dark, shoved it back into my car, which, by the way, do not buy a hatchback if you intend to travel, because no. And then I drove 3 hours back home in the middle of the night. And while I was in my car, I was rehearsing the lies I was going to tell to explain to people why I didn't actually go on this camping trip. Like, trying to come up with valid reasons why I bailed on it other than just like I was hot and uncomfortable and decided this was stupid and came home. And then my very sleepy brain connected the dots on that one for me. Because the book I was reading while I was vibing in this man's cow pasture was this one. I thought it was just me, but it isn't, by Brene Brown. And if you're not familiar with Brene Brown, you should get familiar with Brene Brown because she is amazing and I kind of love her. So Brene Brown's work and research is all around the issues of vulnerability and shame. Two things that, in my experience, most people really hate and would prefer to avoid at all costs, all the time, always. And I'm going to go ahead and throw myself in that category as well because that's who I am. So I'm thinking about the book, and I'm thinking about my abandoned camping trip, and I'm thinking about all the lies I'm about to tell to explain why I'm not camping anymore. And then I remembered the part of the book I had been reading when it got too dark to read anymore, which was, of course, the part about unwanted identities. And unwanted identities are the things that other people put on you that you don't want to be there. And that can be any number of things. Like, if I really sit and think about it, I have a lot of unwanted identities. I don't want to be seen as weak. I don't want to be seen as helpless. I don't want to be seen as, and this is a hard line to walk, too feminine or not feminine enough. There's not a lot of gray area in that area. And I know where all of that stuff comes from. I know who put those things on me in the first place, and I know why I reject them so intensely. because I don't want to be seen as someone who can't do. So I got very irritated with almost every single person that I know in the lead up to the California trip that didn't happen. My mother was deeply concerned. My father told me I was stupid if I went. Michael was worried, and my boss bought me a solar-powered phone charger as an emergency backup, which honestly is really cool, but also made me feel like he thought I was going to die in the woods, which is not exactly the energy I was trying to go forth with. And now I had gone on this ill-fated camping trip, and I had given up after like 9 hours because I was too sweaty. And there's like a lot of those moments in my life, and a lot of those moments in the lives of the people around me and in my clients, where the thing that you need to do and the thing that you want to do looks to other people like a version of you that you don't want to exist. That logic got a little circular. The idea that who you think you are and who you want other people to think you are and who you want other people to not think you are, those things get really complicated, and those things get really loaded with shame. Because a lot of the times, the thing that we don't want people to think we are, it's because it's a thing we kind of are. We just don't like the way that they've labeled it. I don't like to be seen as helpless, because a man that I dated many years ago once told me that there was something about me that made other people want to take care of me, and it infuriated him because people were so much nicer to me than they were to him. And that's always rubbed me the wrong way, because I like to think of myself as a strong, independent woman who don't need no man. Except sometimes I do, or sometimes I just can't actually do the thing that I thought I could do. Or sometimes it's just nice to not be alone and to have some help. Like, I had to deal with this problem actually when we started the YouTube channel, because I was going to be a strong, independent woman and do it all by myself, except I don't own a camera, I don't know how to edit video, I don't understand how anything audio works, and the internet confuses me because I'm basically 95 years old. So I had to have a friend help me. And my feelings are still hurt that I can't do this by myself, even though it's been a year and I should have my shit together by now. The point of all of this is that I think it's important for us all to think about who we are, and who we think we are, and who we don't want other people to think we are. Because when we do things that line up with that unwanted identity, there's a tendency to be filled with shame. Like, I felt sick driving back from Oklahoma, because I just knew that everyone was going to be like, well, I was right, she couldn't do it. Which is dumb. Like, I really cannot emphasize enough how sweaty I was sitting out there in that pasture. I would have been miserable if I had stayed out there for the 3 days that I planned. And I did check. The humidity situation did not improve until like the day I would have left. I didn't do anything out of weakness. I did something out of making a choice for myself. And so I can allow myself to give into that shame and give into those unwanted identities that I don't want put on me. Or I can accept that I made the choice that made the most sense for me in the moment and go from there. And that's what I've been trying to do, is that second one, even though there's still like a little cloud of shame in my chest and throat where it lives regarding this specific incident, even though it was kind of dumb. So take some time to think about it. Like, what are the things that if other people thought you were, would wreck you? What are the identities that you don't want other people to assume you have? And then trying to figure out who put that on you in the first place, because I guarantee it didn't come from you alone. That's the kind of like head trip that gets put on us by people who are supposed to love us and fail at it spectacularly. And once you know what those unwanted identities are, you don't have to make choices solely out of trying to avoid them. Which is a good thing, because it means that you can make decisions from the best part of you, which is, as you may know, a thing that I like to tell you to do a lot because it's important. The choices that we make should be based on the things that we want and not the things that we don't want other people to think. And unwanted identities are a really good gate to get into that conversation with yourself and become aware of those thought patterns in your head. Because shame can motivate us to do a lot of things that we probably wouldn't have done otherwise. And they don't tend to be like integrity-laden, heartfelt decisions so much as they tend to be like fear-based gut reactions because we thought it was a good idea, and oh God, what did we do? And that's a feeling I think we'd all like to avoid. So take some time, think about your unwanted identities. More importantly, buy this book because it's like super good. And then look at Brené Brown's website because it's also really good. And then follow her on Instagram because she's an amazing person and I love her. And if anyone knows her, give her my number. Okay, that's all I have for today, guys. It was good to see you. I'll see you next time.